Hallo Leute, willkommen zu einer weiteren Folge von Genshin Impact. Letztes Mal haben wir ein paar Verdächtige aufgesucht und probiert herauszufinden, ob sie vielleicht der Maulwurf sind in der Gruppe von Rosa der Gruppe. Ich krieg den Namen nicht ausgesprochen. Und jetzt sind wir hier. Voilà. So, ist der G links. Es leckt gerade wie Sau. So, oh Gott, Wasserwelt der Zukunft. Boah, das ist ja schon jetzt in der Aufnahme sehr laggen. Aber oh mein Gott, sieht das wunderschön aus. Und nämlich noch die Wasserwelt gar nicht erkundet. So, Teleportpunkt. So. Boah, das ist aber richtig schön gemacht. Es tut mir aber leid für die Lags, weil die sind wahrscheinlich extrem schlimm. Oh Gott. Doch, oder wie? Ah.
Finally found it. Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. It sure doesn't seem out of the ordinary at all.
Nee, definitiv nicht. Wir werden sicher im Inneren etwas Außergewöhnliches finden. Ja.
You're right. An important place like this is bound to have a ton of protective measures and mechanisms. Navia's probably arguing up a storm right now to stall for us.
Oh, währenddessen in der Opera Epiclass. Okay, das heißt, wir bekommen einen Einblick, was da läuft gerade. Okay, gut zu wissen. Das wäre höchstwahrscheinlich wechseln wir zwischen den zwei immer. So, lädt jetzt ein bisschen. Ein bisschen mehr als erwartet. Ja, ich glaube, die Wasserwelt verträgt der Computer gar nicht. Aber ich gar nicht. So, was läuft denn bei Child? Ah, wir wissen jetzt schon, dass er den Ehrenkampf eingehen wird. Wir kennen den doch.
Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
Nö.
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that right? In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey, don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This isn't the place for you to be looking for fights.
Oh, Child, Alter.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly, and we have made very little progress. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got the wrong man. Huh? What's going on?
Why is she interjecting again?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court with a key eyewitness. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your interjections.
Oh boy.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless theatrics? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default, correct?
Ja, das war.
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway, so I'll take you up on that offer. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted.
Oh boy. Das wird so etwas an einem Ehrenkampf enden.
Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge instead?
Ich dachte, wir hätten... Oh Gott. Boah, Marcel, ne?
Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabriere.
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's sister organization?
Yep.
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia,
Ganz
that
verschiedene
charging
Reaktionen.
someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge also means taking on the legal responsibilities associated with it. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation. Knowing this, do you still wish to charge this man?
Yep.
Yes, I do.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may stand trial.
Kurze Zeit später fand sich ein gleichermaßen verwirrter wie Fassungsmaß in der Rolle des Angeklagten wieder.
Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney. Is that correct?
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I still haven't figured out what's going on. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between me and Navia.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charges.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus the Unfaithful. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard the sound of a gun. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember some details of that case.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and reasoning.
Okay.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage.
Oh boy. Vorgängersagalt ist Callus der Unredliche. Oh
On the day
boy.
of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabriere.
Ja. Das ist noch bisher richtig.
During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard.
Yep.
When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance, Jacques, lay dead from a gunshot wound.
Yep.
The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken Jacques' life.
Yep.
The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, he chose to prove his innocence through a duel.
Yep.
Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed to the injuries.
So.
These are the known facts about the case.
Ja. Okay.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to pull the trigger.
Ne.
In truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from him. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water, erasing all traces of him from the scene.
Huh.
Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. Of course, the guard's conclusion appeared quite sensible to us at the time. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the primordial sea.
So, Vorgängereignis Callus Unredliche. Tagsort, Bankett auf, ne? So.
Something's...
Nur Marcel. Okay. Hier vielleicht das mit den Kleidern. Kleidungsstücke. Ja.
This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for Callus to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead.
Der erste Schuss ist vielleicht ein verfilmten... Vielleicht das? Ja.
A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques as a costume to disguise himself. But now, it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene.
Yep.
And that since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their dissolved accomplice.
Keine Waffe, was ich tue. Das vielleicht? Nein. Nein. Das vielleicht? Ja.
The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callus when he set out for the banquet. However, in the end, he reconsidered, and instead shared everything with Callus, hoping to seek the latter's protection. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility, and had sent out another assassin.
So, damit hätten wir es
Realizing this,
umgedreht.
the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible for Jacques' murder. This is the true version of events.
So, bam. Erfolgreich widerlegt. So, und jetzt passiert irgendwie nichts. Ah, voilà.
Ah, so that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these years?
Ja, Sinf.
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other after all.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to prove your innocence.
Ah, but I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Noch nicht.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine two things.
Ja.
1. Do you have the evidence to back up your claims?
Das ist nur Aussage.
I'm afraid not. At least not at this very moment.
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should just go home.
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around the same time, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time, regardless of age or gender.
Ja.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable investigative direction.
Ja, da stimme ich zu.
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little differently today?
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Vielleicht.
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last trial.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you described, then why didn't Mr. Callus explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved, he could have at least mounted a defense.
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were things that were more important to him. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearances case.
Yep.
My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit to be brought to justice.
Ja.
What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Das ist auch
Boss
wahr.
once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What? If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right. But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect anyone? Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have had no reason to exist. But by staying silent, we retain the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn.
Yep.
And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot, and restore my father's truth and honor back to him.
Ich bin gespannt.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the duelist's ring?
Yep.
That's right.
Hat ja noch die Krankheit dazu
Do
gehabt.
you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clarand.
Ja, du weißt bis Bescheid.
I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything for my sake. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about his sacrifice.
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callus was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and some even manic and just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Ja.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds to reopen this case.
Oh ja.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearance.
Das kommt jetzt mit den Bots.
Right? What she said was fascinating, but kind of beside the point.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearances case?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of timing. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots.
Ja.
And at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene.
Stimmt.
Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet
Stimmt,
and
das habe
the
ich gar nicht
trial.
beachtet.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous.
Wir müssen noch die
I'm
Roboter
used to
sagen.
it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
No need to appeal to pathos.
Ja.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Don't know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see as your own daughter? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, let Uncle Marcel teach you another lesson.
Oh Gott.
Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me anyways.
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain.
Ja, das
In addition,
hilft. Ist
I
ein
left
gutes
my home
Business.
in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had come prepared.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case of the serial
Der
disappearances?
offiziellen.
You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time.
Ah.
Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anguish in your heart?
Seems like she got the wrong guy. At this rate, Nagi will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job
Können wir die
of
Sache mit den
dissecting your
Maschinen
father's
ansprechen?
feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own feelings. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things, you'd have met most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me. And the biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth, while that same agency has long been taken from them.
Ja.
The people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered tragic ends due to their sense of justice. Many people's images are flashing before my eyes. I'm sure some are coming to those of you in the audience as well. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher?
Reaktion.
Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
Ja, ja.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Kurz zuvor, am Eingang zum Hauptquartier des Stripteases. Ja, da sind wir ja. Eigentlich sind wir wieder dran. Ich hatte jetzt nicht gedacht, dass diese Verhandlung so lange sich ziehen würde. Jetzt gehen wir wieder zurück zum Hauptquartier und ich bin mal gespannt, was wir dort finden, zusammen mit Paimon. Weil ich nehme an, wir werden wahrscheinlich einen eindeutigen Hinweis finden, der uns den Sieg wahrscheinlich bei der Verhandlung gibt. Oder irgendwas Wichtiges auf jeden Fall. Boah, wie wunderschön. Oh, und es leckt wie Sau. Ah, das ist nicht wunderschön. So. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Was ist das? Es tut mir leid für die Lags, die sind wirklich ganz schlimm. Okay, hier kann man das Team ändern. Okay, haben wir ein paar Gegner. Oh, jetzt wird's laggen. Jetzt weiß ich jetzt schon. Oh, es tut mir leid. Ah, es tut mir leid. Ah. So. So.
The floor is going up.
Yep.
Is it because of this mechanism in the middle?
Tschüss.
That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place.
So macht man sich das einfacher. Alter, was ist denn hier für eine riesen Dings?
Paimon thinks we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up.
Ne, ich komme da nicht hin. Oder kann ich hier klettern? Da komme ich schon ein Problem dahin. Nein? Okay. Mechanismus. Ich glaube, sie haben das bedacht, dass man witzkaum nicht dahin kommt. Okay. Ah. Und jetzt? Nee. Hä? Versteh's nicht. Und jetzt? Ach so, jetzt ich verstehe. So. Was? Und weg ist es. Okay, jetzt habe ich verstanden. So. Und hier haben wir Mechanismus. Also, wenn die Tempel so aussehen werden von Fontaine, dann freue ich mich, weil die sehen richtig schön aus. Oh, Cutscene, die übelst lag. Oh, Jesus. Ah. Okay, das Wasser erhöht sich. Und damit kommen wir zu der Plattform da oben. Okay. Oder auch nicht. Schade.
The water level is rising. Now we can swim to the top.
So.
But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Mhm. Da stimme ich dir zu.
The wind rises.
Nein, okay. Versuch was wert. Ich probiere es einfach. So, hier dann vielleicht? Oh Gott, Lex incoming. Tut mir leid. So. Einen weg. 2 weg. Hier noch du. Ich glaube, das war's das. Ah, nein, da sind noch andere. So, geheilt. Und weg mit dir. Okay. So. Da ist der nächste Schalter. Ich weiß auch nicht. Nächste Apparatur. Ich glaube, das trifft es gut. So, und damit müssen wir normalerweise jetzt zu der Plattform da oben dran kommen müssen. Da kommen wir jetzt einfach drauf. Fertig. So, es öffnet sich auch. Das ist mal ein gutes Zeichen. So. Bum, 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 bum. Die Schimmerli macht es wirklich gut gemacht. Und sieht sehr, sehr natürlich aus. So, okay, hier geht's weiter. Alter, wie groß ist das hier bitte? Okay. Einfache Kiste. Achten. Alter, was für Apparaturen hier noch sind. Okay. Okay, es geht nicht noch einmal auseinander, Gott sei Dank. Und da haben wir 2 von denen da. Und dann? Neues Monster. Oh ja, ich sehe. So, up. Okay, die Lex haben sich ein bisschen beruhigt, wie es scheint. Das freut mich. Das mal zu euch. So. Up. Und up. Okay, sind ein paar Hunde dabei jetzt. Und up. Bam. Und da müsste es Garabusch nochmal zuletzt. Ja, da. Und weiter geht's. Oh Gott, was ist denn da hier? Okay, eine Höhle. Ich glaube, so wird größer als die Exploration von Fontaine aussehen. So nur Höhlen und Höhlen. Okay, Cutscene. Also nicht Cutscene, aber.
After all that, we finally made it to the innermost sanctum.
Yep.
Though, as expected, the mastermind isn't here.
Wenn ich raten müsste, wird er wohl gerade Navias Anschuldigung über sich ergehen lassen.
That's right. Then let's hurry up and find some evidence so we can get back to the Opera House and help Navia.
Yep. Machen wir. Und wieder zurück zu der Dings. Ah, nein, okay. Was haben wir hier? Die Lagerkisten untersuchen.
What's all this? Oh, it's a bunch of really cute things.
Was denn?
Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box.
Das sind die Sachen von der Mädchen. Hier stehen sogar Namen drauf.
Oh, Paimon sees it too, but why are all these cute things labeled with different girls' names?
Weil sie vermutlich den Opfern der vermissten Fälle gehörten.
Huh? You mean the girls from the serial disappearances? They were brought here?
Gut möglich.
And then they were turned into water. And all the boxes of things. These names. That means...
Gegenstände Verbisste. Die Kisten wurden tief im Hauptquartier entdeckt und sind mit den Namen ihres Besitzers versehen. Die Namen hier stehen eindeutig im Zusammenhang mit den Opfern des massenhaften Verschwindens der Mädchen. Dies könnte ein Beweis dafür sein, dass dieser Ort ihre letzte Station war. Okay, das ist ein ganz starker Beweis. Das einzige Problem, was ich mit diesem Beweis sehe, ist, ihn in Verbindung mit Marcel zu bringen. Aber sonst ist es wirklich ein ganz starker Beweis. So, hier haben wir... Ah, Bücherregal, okay.
Let's see what's written here. Nothing escapes Detective Paimon's eyes.
Da musst du wieder den Brille, die Brille antun.
Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an investigation report on him.
Das muss wohl etwas mit seinem Fall von damals zu tun haben.
Yep, it's about finding someone to assassinate Jacques and Callus because of a lack of confidence that Jacques himself would go through with it.
Oh.
This should prove the existence of the third person, right?
Das ist wahr. Steht da noch was?
We still have not determined the exact content of the key information Callus has passed on to certain members of his organization.
Okay.
The old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides by the promise he's made to us, he will still have the upper hand. He can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. The only option left is to remove him from the picture entirely.
Das haben sie auch.
Let's send someone to kill him. He won't declare war as long as we don't touch Navia. Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups.
Yep. Die sind ziemlich durchtrieben.
They're all just so evil.
Ermittlungsbericht über Carles. Ein Hinweis zu Carles Fall, die im Bücherregal gefunden wurden. Der Drahtzieher glaubt nicht, dass Jax die Tat begehen würde, also schickt er eine Drittperson, Carles Tod sicherzustellen. Auch der folgende Inhalt bestätigt einigermaßen das Motiv des Mörders. Also eigentlich haben wir gerade die ganze Zeit Beweise, die die Aussagen von Navia bestätigen und nicht widerlegen können. Und hier steht jetzt, die Verbindung zu Marcel haben wir noch immer nicht. Vielleicht finden sie mir aber hier bei den Flaschen.
Whoa. There's so much synth here. And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the waters of the primordial sea.
Meine Güte, sind das viele.
Mixing in progress. Ready to drink. Stock sample? Huh. They've also got all the synth pretty clearly labeled.
Oh ja.
Whoa, there's even fruit-flavored synth?
Sieht aus, als würden sie hier Synth herstellen.
Yep, it's super obvious.
Synth ist ein ziemlich weit verbreiteter Trank, der dem Trinker für kurze Zeit ein sehr angenehmes Erlebnis bietet, aber sehr starke Nebenwirkungen hat. Hersteller nutzen diese Eigenschaft, um damit enormen Gewinn zu erzielen. Und hier noch den Labortisch untersuchen. Das scheint das letzte zu sein.
What's this over here? Looks like some kind of place for research. Experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob Ingold's research conclusions on the primordial sea and use his theory as a foundation to achieve a breakthrough. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimens 22, 23, and 24 were dissolved.
Huh. Beruhige dich, Paimon.
Sorry, traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's just that Paimon's never read something so scary before. How can someone write something that terrible in such a matter-of-fact tone?
Das heißt, sie probieren gegen die Prophezeiung zu gehen, oder was?
I'm scared to keep going.
Huh. Das Ziel des Erforschers ist, seiner einzigen Geliebten namens Vacher zu helfen, die sich aufgelöst hat.
So that's why he did all of these experiments. Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane!
Hier steht noch ein weiterer Name. Vacher.
Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case.
Nein, er ist der Forscher.
You mean Vacher is the one who did all of these... experiments?
Ja, viele der Laborrichter tragen seine Unterschrift.
So that's it. Vacher was no victim, but personally took his lover and...
Und hat's getestet.
No, that's not it either. If that's the case, why would he want people to resurface from the water?
Er will sie vielleicht ins Wasser schicken, damit sie die Prophezeiung überleben, sozusagen, wenn dann alles untergeht. Da muss noch mehr dahinter stecken.
In any case, Paimon will write it all down.
Okay, mach du das. Vachers Laboraufzeichnung. Experiment Nummer 16 zielt darauf, ob die Schlüssel auf... Ja, und dann halt, okay, all das, was wir halt gelesen haben. Es gibt auch viele weitere Aufzeichnungen dieser Art. Und ich hab fettes Stück auf. Jesus. Haben wir noch etwas? Hier. Das kann uns von Vorteil sein. Oh, doch. Hier, den Teich, ja. Das wird wohl das Wasser des Urmeers sein. Das kann ich mir gut vorstellen. Yep.
If you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth, but the pure stuff can dissolve a human. Paimon will take notes on this incriminating evidence.
Yep. Teich des Wassers des Urmeers. Im Hauptquartier gefundener Teich, der mit dem Wasser des Urmeers gefüllt ist. Der wahre Täter kann damit 10 Verstanden direkt Menschen auflösen. Ich glaube, das war alles, ne?
We've looked at almost everything here, and it seems like our theories were spot on. But
wer ist Vacher? Vacher.
yeah, we haven't found anything that reveals his true identity.
Entschuldigt.
No
Ui.
wonder even Nervalet wasn't able to find anything. Whoever it is probably destroyed everything to do with that name a long time ago.
Vielleicht Marcel.
That way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the true culprit.
Unsere Pfeile sind wirklich gerissen. Aber vielleicht nicht gerissen genug. Sehen wir uns noch einmal um.
Sure thing. Paimon won't admit defeat to this guy either.
Okay. Such nach Hinweisen zu Vacher. Okay. Oh Gott, das ist nicht gerade wenig. Flaschen untersuchen. Stabverfasser. Sonst scheint hier nichts weiteres bemerkenswert zu sein. Okay. Labortisch, den hatten wir auch schon. Hier. Ich habe nicht gelesen, was es war. Yep. Nach einer Weile.
Nothing at all. And Paimon can't even find snacks either.
Paimon, ich hab hier etwas. Oh, was denn?
Really? Let Paimon see. Vernier. Isn't that Vacher's lover's name?
Scheint so der Fall zu sein.
Then you found her diary. Let's see.
Jetzt bin ich gespannt.
Aw, it's just a normal diary chronicling their love story. She was so sweet too. Oh, Paimon feels even worse for her now.
Sie hat sich einen Gedanken um meinen Kindernamen gemacht. Was steht da?
So many. A whole page's worth. But they're all crossed out. Was she unhappy with all of them?
Bloß da steht Navia.
The final name she decided on was Marcel.
Oh.
Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vacher and Vernier's grown son?
Ich hab die Antwort. Lass uns gehen, Paimon.
Hey! Paimon still hasn't figured it out.
Also ist er sozusagen die Fußstapfen des Vaters eingetragen, eingestopft. Ha. Ein Notizbuch, das ein Mädchen namens Vacher gehört. Darin sind viele Geschichten von ihren und den geliebten Vacher aufgezeichnet. Aber an der Seite stehen mehrere Namen, die sie sich für ihr zukünftiges Kind ausgedacht hat. Und am Ende scheint sie sich für den Namen Marcel entscheidet zu haben. Ja, ich weiß nicht genau, ob es jetzt I oder je war. Nachdem du den entscheidenden Hinweis gefunden hast, gehst du schleunigst bei Klebs zurück. Definitiv, macht ja auch Sinn. So, jetzt treten wir ein und Child kämpft gegen Chlorin. Bitte nicht, lass mich nicht richtig sein, bitte nicht.
And whose image do you see, Marcel?
Oh boy.
Is it a man named Vacher? Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
Es ist dein Vater, also ich könnte mal sagen, du kennst den. Obwohl, das muss nichts heißen.
Navia, we're back!
As expected of my partner. I just knew you'd return in the nick of time.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this court?
Für die Justiz.
It's all right, Monsieur Neuvillette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found the crucial evidence.
Oh ja.